Minnie. Ready to start docking sequence?
Okay. Engaging retro thrusters now. Motor Transfer Station Tacoma. Commercial Cargo Transit Facility. Crew evacuated. Station AI offline.
Air supply?
Breathable air on Tacoma.
Hey there, I'm Steve. Hey there, I'm Steve.
I'm Carla.
And we are the co-founders of Fulbright, and we want to welcome you to...
So doing the voice recording for Amy was definitely very different from what we did with Sam in Gone Home. A lot of it with Gone Home, since it is something that's very personal, it's very intimate, it's that one person...
So Minnie is Amy's ship's AI. I think she's most known for saying, okay. And I am the voice of Minnie. When we originally recorded it, it was just Scratch. So we didn't know then that I would be the voice of Minnie, ultimately. But yeah, it stuck, and it was a nice surprise.
Yeah, Minnie went through like a bunch of iterations. Actually, it was kind of hard to get her right. We ended up kind of settling on the audio direction being like a happy version of HAL.
A lot of people ask about the use of sign language in Tacoma, including asking things like, is Amy hearing impaired? Is there, what is the rationale behind the use of sign language? And for us, it actually came from thinking about how an interface for a non-physical thing like AR might work.
Most of our AR interaction is, it's attention-based and it's focus-based, like on where the user is looking and paying attention to. But sometimes there are good reasons for you to do something, physically, and we use, therefore, sign language for things like signing in.
Or in the case of when Amy's recovering one of the AR crew records, she does, as opposed to like text entry, she does full word commands in ASL, American Sign Language.
And our animator, Noelle, also had extensive correspondence with a person fluent in ASL, so...
Yeah, it was important to us to work with a sign language consultant so that Noelle could ensure that the hand motions and the finger spelling that she was animating were accurate to how someone might actually use those gestures in the real world.
Alright, so the advertisements you see in the transfer shaft are advertising the Ventura Spelt vacation homes.
So there's actually a whole bunch of physically made paper items in Tacoma that our characters made, and in order to make those assets, so there's actually a whole bunch of physically made paper items in Tacoma that our characters made, and in order to make those assets,
Typically, Steve, who's the main writer, will send me a description of technical requirements for any given sort of game object, any thoughts he has about like the basic look of it. And in this case, the sync device had to feel like this, like sort of like a heavy-duty industrial object. Like he mentioned when he was talking to me initially about like early beige Apple products, kind of like the Apple II, and it couldn't have any buttons, as you will know, because the moment there's a button is the moment you as a player you want to press that button, right? And so if we can't pay off a button, generally we don't put a button in or we steer away from it. So that's why you won't find many or any buttons in Tacoma Station.
Glitch was initially a way for us to make our text more approachable. We wanted to have the appearance of a full page of information, but not make you have to literally read the entire page, you know, and retain everything. So we were like, what's a good way for us to
One thing that stood out was the fact that we wanted this idea that the skybox, the starfield, the rotating sun, and then the sun hitting the interiors, we wanted them all to tie together so that it felt like one contiguous thing, you know, that you felt like when you looked out the window you saw the thing you were in.
So Tacoma is a sci-fi game. Obviously, it takes place on a space station in the future, but also it's very much a story about the lives.
So the obsolescence day sticky letters are very unique because you can take one letter and put it.
So the whole main scene in the dining room centers on this making and unveiling of Odin's cake, which he sort of neural networked together into something that he thinks that humans would kind of like to eat for this weird party he's throwing. So that's the cake in the game. It doesn't actually exist. It's just sort of implied sheet cake. But Sarah, for our lunch party, so you were responsible for actually making, like reproducing the cake in real life, right?
Yes. I would think, I almost feel like I think in my head that it was going to be...
So here we are in the lounge, my favorite place in the game.
Yeah, mine too, I think.
I can't put my... Oh, the darts.
The darts.
This dartboard had potentially more bugs than anything else in the game. I was still fixing bugs, you know, the last night before release. Just so many states and so many confusing, unique features about this. With the, you know, being able to put the darts back in the door, and then the door can move, and the door can be open or closed, and it can close on a dart that's stuck in the board.
You know what? We could have just made it so that it wasn't a cabinet, so that the darts were just stored underneath in a little rack or something, and then that would have solved so many problems for you.
Oh, don't say it now. Yeah, yes, we should have.
Shut up. Can you just try and make...
I remember when there was like one frame of the animations in...
We're a cat-rich studio.
It's true.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of studios I've worked before, they're like dog-heavy, but this is cat intense.
We have all three of the cats from the development team, which makes it sound like they worked on the game.
They did.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, he would hit the keyboard.
Yeah, we have a framed photo of Kate's cat Tuco, who in the game plays the part of Margaret Catwood, Evie's cat. And then on the delicious cat food is my cat Delicious. And then the sweet puffy paw on that cat litter box belongs to Carla's cat Wednesday.
It's true. She's a paw model now.
The Tuco picture frame, originally when I made it, Carla, you'd asked for a picture frame model.
Yeah.
And then I had just kind of put that picture of Tuco in there as a placeholder. with the idea that eventually we would put
So Tacoma's localized just like you would expect a game to be localized, in that it has subtitles. And I think the interesting part of localization for Tacoma is the in-world aspect, where if you have your settings turned on to have AR overlays, then if you look at something like, for example, a magazine in a bunk, the text will appear translated into your given language as an AR overlay, so using the fictional AR technology as a